In conversations about The Matrix, a common viewpoint is that the original film is a groundbreaking masterpiece and philosophical blockbuster, while its sequels, the second and third, are generally deemed inferior. Some vague piece of work that the Wachowskis hurriedly created at the height of its popularity, an appendage to the first film for box office revenue. The core essence of The Matrix is more deeply explored in its second and third parts, while the first part presents it in a simpler way. The plot of the sequels is logical and consistent, one deception hides another, even more grandiose. The Wachowskis left us a very big hint in the reboot that the real world is also a matrix. Neo is identified as the one, possessing abilities like stopping bullets and flying. But then it turns out that Neo can do this not only in the Matrix but also in the real world. He stops several agents, and then a whole bunch, using sheer thought, connects to the Matrix without any physical connection, sees Smith and other machines when he is blinded. Neo only has telekinesis and other powers of the one in the virtual world, not in reality. This is a huge hint from the creators that the real world is also virtual, and all the people who transitioned from the Matrix to the real world were cruelly deceived and moved from one Matrix to another. We will talk about this grand deception, why Morpheus is a program, and Smith is a human, what reboot and revolution mean. But let's carefully take it step by step. We should start with the dialogue with the architect. He tells Neo only the truth, knowing all his moves and having everything under control, with no reason to deceive. The Matrix version where Neo was born is not the first one. The system is always enhancing and updating. For the architect, the Matrix is an equation with many variables, an equation that must be perfectly balanced for the Matrix to function. As the architect told us, the first Matrix was a work of art, perfection, an ideal utopian world, yet its collapse was inevitable. People refused to accept this perfect world. Deep down, they felt, just like Neo, that they were in a prison for the mind. With their inner resistance to the system, they began to throw it out of balance. The system began to malfunction. There was something in people that disrupted the balance of the system and destroyed the mathematical harmony of the Matrix, leading to failures even in the simplest programs. It was then that Agent Smith was created, whose task was simple, to eliminate all people who refused to accept the Matrix, in other words, to remove from the equation the variables that did not fit. The situation worsened as more rebels emerged, the Matrix froze further, and the machine's extermination of people diminished their energy source. The architect believed that the cause of the collapse was the imperfection of the human individual, as only a flawed being can reject the paradise it has built, according to his reasoning. In the second version of The Matrix, he aimed to depict human vice's variability by altering historical events. This version was highly experimental. Vera Vingen was created, a Frenchman who literally tried to make people love the system. He writes code that can elicit a range of emotions, including love, happiness, anger, sadness, and arousal. He does this with food, like cheesecake. At that time, a lot of programs were being written. Many, like Ramachandra and his wife, went unnoticed. Some control birds and trees, others the weather. They are unnoticed. You might not suspect their presence at all, but the others are fully aware of them and their significance. You often hear about them. Pythia explains that every time you hear someone claim to have seen a ghost or an angel, every story about vampires or werewolves is a program that stopped functioning and was hacked by another program. Programs hack programs. Why? She says that when a program is threatened with destruction, they usually choose exile, and they were sent to Merovingian, who rewrote them. Among his bodyguards are reimagined ghosts and vampires, two individuals obsessed with watching Dracula movies all day. Persephone kills one of them with a silver bullet. Do many people actually load their guns with silver bullets? Among them is Seraph. According to the canonical game Matrix Online, written by the Wachowskis, Seraph was a regular agent under Smith, like Brown and Jones. Regular agents were replaced with newer, more efficient ones, but Seraph managed to survive. Merovingian transformed him into an angel by giving him a pair of wings. But then Merovingian had to hand him over to the Oracle as a bodyguard. Seraph's wings were lost. In the third film, Smith greeted the ex-agent. Smith states that Sooty is the final outcast, functioning without any purpose. And You seem to be the last of the outcasts. That's why Ramachandra asked Merovingian to help them rewrite the girl, and the Frenchman did it. Later, Sati would control the weather. We shouldn't rush, that's an important detail. Merovingian was unsuccessful in forcing people to comply with the Matrix. The second version was even more chaotic. Additionally, resisting people were joined by resisting programs, outcasts, ghost angels, vampires, and other fantastic creatures. Merovingian created code for people that made them feel any emotions, but he still couldn't make them happy and submissive. He only spawned lackeys. In the third version of the Matrix, the architect found a solution to the problem. No matter how harmonious and perfect the Matrix is, it will still collapse. Neo correctly identified the cause of this issue. This program detects people who disrupt the balance of the system and gives them a choice, the opportunity to determine their own fate. The Oracle establishes a second Matrix, portraying it as reality. If you want to stay in the Matrix, stay. If not, go to Zion, where you'll find false hope and the struggle you've craved. Thus, 99% of people accept the rules of the game and stop shaking the system, while the remaining percentage goes to Zion and doesn't disturb the system. So, according to the architect, a person cannot be accounted for in the equation, cannot be a variable, because they behave quite unpredictably, can comply with the system or not, meaning they can choose resistance or submission. To address this issue, we should analyze human chemical reactions to determine the percentage of individuals who will choose Zion versus the Matrix, incorporating this data into our calculations. Nearly all subjects, 99%. This is what the architect meant when he said that the Oracle was created to study the human soul. It was only necessary to create Zion so that people had something to choose from. Mr. Architect asserts that the Oracle offers choices, but it is actually Morpheus who determines those choices. He symbolically presents Neo with two pills, red and blue, while the Oracle offers only the red one. When Neo inquires whether they have already researched the complexities of the human soul, and if it's been determined whether he will choose to take the red pill or not, essentially asking if he truly has a choice, the Oracle responds by clarifying, she is referring to Morpheus. The Oracle never hid that she serves only. Any program is created for a purpose, otherwise, it gets deleted. The Oracle exists not to assist rebels, if so, she would have been deleted. Her goal is to eliminate those who have chosen to resist, symbolized by red pills. I thought you had already figured it out. What are you doing here? The same reason. I love candies. Morpheus, in mythology, is the god of sleep who visits people in their dreams while they sleep. This is very symbolic, as it is through Morpheus that the Oracle leads undesirable sleeping people out of the Matrix. Morpheus's appearance holds a clue. When he first connects with Neo, Neo already knows about him and longs to meet him, because the Oracle has long sent him visions of meeting Morpheus, just as she sent visions of Trinity's death. Morpheus prepares the ground for his appearance in advance, dropping hints about himself, making it so that the system's opponents find him on their own. He effortlessly eliminates them by creating mystery and confusion. Even the awakening itself raises many questions. When Neo wakes up, he is simply flushed down the sewer. Do the machines erase the memories of those who wake up and return to the Matrix? Don't they turn people into nutrient slurry? They hand him over to the Resistance. Quite strange behavior on the part of the machines. Morpheus recounts the story of the first chosen one who liberated others. Waking up on a farm offers a unique experience. Stripped of basic necessities like food, water, shelter, and technology, how can one be called a savior? A person who sleeps their entire life in a capsule won't have the strength to stand. It's just the perfect scheme for eliminating the unwanted. Morpheus was a liberated rebel living in Zion. Morpheus returned changed after visiting the Oracle, despite being with Niobe before. The Pythia converted him into a program to help extract rebels from the Matrix. To put it simply, Morpheus became part of the Oracle program, a program that studies people and gives them an illusory choice. However, we all remember that each of you is here because you prefer not to obey anyone else. Morpheus's non-human nature is shown by Smith's inability to break him. The agents are puzzled by the serum's ineffectiveness. Because the serum is designed to break people. Why isn't the injection working? They simply aren't meant to know about all the programs. The system's attack dogs have only one task, to hunt those who resist. They aren't meant to know more. I don't even breathe. In the Matrix's third version, the rebels achieved their goal of battling the machines. The second version improves on the first, where Agent Smith eliminated them. Better than the second version, where they were forced to experience false happiness through code. You often hear the argument that Zion is a real world. Supposedly the Oracle said that Neo is practically the embodiment of Jesus and his powers now work in the real world. But she didn't say anything about the real world. She said literally, your powers extend beyond this world, they reach from here to the place from which they originate. From where? From the source. So she is saying directly, your powers now work not only in this matrix, but also in Zion and in any virtual reality that can be created, whether it's a training ground or a program with the woman in red. Because all these worlds or realities are on one computer, the source. What happens to those in Zion without body contacts? No holes. Exactly. Common inquiry. In the Matrix, individuals lack physical contacts. Contacts are just a facade. Neo is frequently viewed as a messianic figure akin to Jesus, capable of performing miracles. And that doesn't mean Zion is a virtual world. Jesus loves all people, but Neo loves only Trinity. Neo selects the door that leads to Trinity, ultimately dooming 100,000 residents of Zion to death. Just think about it, would the Messiah, the embodiment of Jesus, act this way? What would you do to not break the bond with the one you love? Anything. Morpheus is a program, and many believe Neo would recognize this fact. He noticed Seraph's cat and would have identified Morpheus. Neo sees nothing at all. He has no powers. The Oracle wields all this power. She gave him just enough power as needed. He clearly understands exactly what she needs to manipulate and control him. It's exactly like with Agent Smith, who tried to torture Morpheus with a serum for humans but never understood why the serum didn't work. They are not meant to know and see everything. We have two worlds, one for submissive people, which is maintained in balance by isolating the unruly, and a world of rebels who believe they are at war. It's all simple and orderly. The Wachowskis intentionally avoid depicting the real world to prevent the realization that Zion could also be seen as a matrix, raising questions about its authenticity. The main question remains, why stage some spectacle with a chosen one stopping bullets? A system reboot is essential. Neo is the sixth chosen one, according to the architect. Zion has faced destruction 5 times and now risks a 6th. Why not let the rebels handle it alone? Let them endlessly battle the formidable tin squids as long as they desire on a dedicated server. Morpheus offers choices, leading to satisfaction for all. The key is found in the architect's phrase. The essence of this program is as follows. Almost 99% of subjects accepted the rules of the game if they were given a choice, even though the choice existed only in their subconscious. The chosen one is needed so that those same 99% initially choose the blue pill, as the architect needs to account for those who choose blue. The Oracle identifies the individual with the greatest potential for rebellion, offers them a choice, and grants them abilities to fight against the machines. This instills hope for victory, but ultimately leads to their defeat and submission. The Oracle then implants a code of obedience into every inhabitant of the Matrix, reinforcing control and compliance. How does she do it? It's very simple, through human weakness. The Oracle causes the chosen one to love. The Pythia gives Neo a cookie, a sweet pastry, just like the one made by Merovingian. I promise you, even before you completely finish it, you'll start to feel much better. The cookie causes Neo to fall in love with Trinity, highlighting its clear properties. The Oracle grants Neo abilities and encourages him to fight against the machines, instilling belief in victory. She presents the chosen one with a choice: comply with the system or lose their loved one. The chosen one will always select their beloved, it's human nature. Dr. Mann in Interstellar addressed this topic. Cooper undertook the journey entirely for his daughter's sake, disregarding others on Earth. Our empathy truly extends only to those we know, to those we care about. Evolution has yet to overcome this simple barrier. We are ready to selflessly sacrifice ourselves for those we know, but our compassion does not extend to strangers. And Neo will always choose his loved one. The architect perceives the overpowering chemical reaction that often eclipses logic and reason. The Oracle told Neo that he would face a choice between Trinity or Zion. To which Neo replied that he couldn't make a choice. So I have to choose between living or dying. The Oracle answers unequivocally. The decision has already been finalized. You just need to realize it. Because a person cannot do otherwise. Next events are irrelevant. When this code enters the matrix, it will compel people in their deep subconscious to choose submission to the system, because resistance will lead to the death of a loved one. The architect referred to a choice that is only present in the subconscious mind. He explained to Neo that he was designed with a connection to a representative of his kind to help him fulfill the chosen one role. Your 5 predecessors were intentionally programmed in a very similar manner, which fostered a deep emotional attachment to other members of your kind and significantly helped them to fulfill the crucial role of the chosen ones effectively. Addressing the challenge of choice. This attachment was formed by the Oracle using code in the cookie. By creating the chosen one, the Matrix established another control system. I'm sorry. I understand that this situation is undoubtedly challenging, but I assure you it's genuinely true. A very important detail is that the Pythia does not predict anything. She creates the conditions for her prophecies to come true. We see a demonstration of her powers in the key scene with the vase. Neo avoided breaking the vase because she warned him. Neo standing by the vase captures the film's essence, but she isn't a fortune teller. It is her intervention that makes her prediction come true. She creates conditions in which people choose what she desires. She believes the future is unwritten and not predetermined. Would he have been the chosen one without her cookie and the belief in victory she instilled? Do you believe in fate, Neo? No. Why? Feeling manipulated is an unpleasant thought. The Oracle's goal is to explore choice and the human soul to learn how to control it. That's why the chosen one is needed. It doesn't predict the future, it shapes it. The author of the prophecy and its executor. And the prophecy has been fully fulfilled. I didn't need to actively avoid issues related to you, as they were all anticipated and easily manageable. That's why, in the end, you should carefully consider your options. But how did they pull this off so skillfully? To time it so that Trinity is in grave danger, forcing Neo to choose between her and Zion. Isn't it suspicious that Neo's dream came true with 100% accuracy down to the smallest details? Trinity mirrored the scenario first in Neo's dream and then in reality. You saw it all. In your dreams, right? The Oracle previously placed Trinity in a similar dilemma, losing a loved one or facing Zion's destruction. And Trinity went to save Neo. Humans are predictable, chemical reactions drive them to the same actions over and over. Even the Oracle cannot foresee the future. She made Neo fall in love, then broke him, and he entered the code of submission into the Matrix, all through love. An interesting reference, Neo lived in room 101, and in George Orwell's 1984, there was also room 101, where they broke people. This room was located in the so-called Ministry of Love. In that place, dissenters were coerced to love the system. Interestingly, the Merovingian's restaurant is on the 101st floor. In this restaurant, he feeds people a code that induces intense sexual attraction. I can already see the start of reactions, chemical reactions. These experiences will lead to intensified emotions that consistently overshadow the voice of logic and reason. Feelings that prevent you from seeing the simple and obvious truth. What truth? That you are only happy, Neo. The Matrix exploits individuals by using a program to create love, only to later strip everything away from them. The result is this: the code introduced into the source, NEO, will make people subconsciously follow the same path as NEO and ultimately choose the system, as it's better than losing a loved one. It's hard to bear. Most people, 99%, opt for Morpheus's blue pill to forget and conform. Out of 100,000 residents in Zion, 10 million preferred blue candy. The candies are just a small patch that uploads certain settings into people. The Oracle upgrades the system and enhances individuals, people within the Matrix. The second film, titled Reloaded, showcases this clearly. If the first film shows us a choice, the second demonstrates that there is no choice. Neo follows a path filled with deceit and manipulation. Instead of 2 pills, there are 2 doors. Instead of bullets, Neo stops the hunters. A young boy hands Neo a simple spoon and states that it doesn't truly exist, and then later in Zion, he offers him another spoon, which likewise does not exist. The architect monitored Neo throughout Smith's interrogation. The screens don't appear to be related to intelligence surveillance. These are screens in the architect's room, reflecting the concept of total control. Initially, all screens display the same image, followed by various unique versions created by the architect. In the end, they all lead to one conclusion. Neo confidently chooses the correct door that leads him to his destiny. We have the first film showing deception, and we have a reboot showing a grander deception and a system reset. Is there a purpose in a revolution if the reboot has resolved everything? Defying the machines is pointless. The architect's plan is unfolding as intended. Was the outcome as expected? At the trilogy's conclusion, he explicitly shares this with the Oracle. The architect disapproves of radical changes to the plan and struggles to understand them, leading to a lack of smooth progress. What changes and what risks are we talking about? What unique events occurred in the 6th cycle of the Matrix compared to earlier ones? The thing is, everything mentioned in the video about suppressing humanity and betraying Zion for the system does not apply to Neo. He is not the chosen one the architect spoke of. If the Oracle deviated from the plan, then Smith acted with full diligence in complete accordance with the script. He reached out to the one who decided to favor the Matrix over Zion. Of course, we're talking about Cypher. After all, he is the true anomaly within the anomaly. He makes a choice that seals people's fate. Cypher escaped the Matrix and battled machines for 9 years, enduring dampness, cold, hunger, and rusty metal surroundings. And then, fully aware of all the intricate rules governing the game, he makes a deliberate and conscious choice to select the very first Matrix available. He strongly hates Morpheus for deceiving him deeply. The architect confirms these words. The newly developed algorithm contained a significant fundamental flaw, which ultimately led to a troubling new systemic contradiction. This could threaten the existence of the system. Those who still did not believe the program, though they were a minority, could, even if by accident, lead to a catastrophe. You're referring to Zion now. It's about that percentage that the cat didn't affect. In their deep subconscious, the idea that resistance is futile was also implanted, but they didn't believe this program. This is what led them to Morpheus. Cypher is equally the one as the last 5. He is also in love with Trinity.